Did you know people spend approximately 21 years of their life staring at screens? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela. A few days ago, John eyed an empty notebook lying open on his desk, but just thinking about the essay he had to write was way too overwhelming. So he reached for his phone, telling himself, I'll just take a quick break first. 10 minutes turned into 30, 30 turned into an hour, and before he knew it, it was almost 2 a.m. His phone was dying and the homework was still exactly where he had left it. And the worst part was, he didn't even enjoy most of what he watched. The scary part is that this isn't just John. On average, people spend nearly 7 hours a day on screens. Over a lifetime, that adds up to more than 21 years. 21 years! That's 4 times longer than the time you'll spend actually enjoying food in a lifetime, which is around 5 years. So if you've ever wondered, why can't I just stop? It's not just a willpower problem. You're in something called the attention economy, where apps are literally designed by experts to keep you scrolling. This not only wastes time, but also shortens our attention span, training the brain to crave instant gratification through rapid dopamine hits. So instead of blaming ourselves, what if we diagnose it? Because once you understand why you picked up your phone, it would be easier to actually start taking control of it. There are 4 primary reasons that give us the urge to scroll. The first trigger is the avoidance scroll. This is when you have something important to do, such as studying, replying to emails, or completing assignments, and your brain suddenly decides that checking your phone is a good idea. You tell yourself it's just one video to relax, but it turns into a whole chain of distractions. The truth is, you're not scrolling because you're bored. You're scrolling because you're trying to avoid stress. So instead of forcing yourself to finish everything, try the 5-minute rule. Just do the smallest possible part of the task for 5 minutes. Open the document, write 1 sentence, solve 1 question. That's it. This works because of something called the Zeigarnik effect, which shows that our brains remember unfinished tasks better than unstarted ones. Once you begin, even a little bit, your brain creates an open loop and naturally wants to finish it. There's also something called the activation energy barrier, which means starting a task takes the most effort, but continuing it is much easier. So you're not forcing productivity, you're just lowering the barrier to begin. The second trigger is the gap scroll. This happens when you're waiting in public, such as for a bus, an elevator, or your food, and your hand automatically reaches for your phone. It's not even a decision anymore, it's just a habit. The problem is that this tricks your brain to expect constant stimulation, so even a few seconds of doing nothing starts to feel uncomfortable. Instead of trying to completely resist it, you can swap the type of stimulation to audio, like music or a podcast. It gives your brain something to engage with, but without trapping you in an endless visual scroll. You're still entertained, but not stuck in that loop anymore. The third trigger is the boredom scroll. This usually happens at home, when everything is quiet and you don't really know what to do next. You're not stressed, you're not busy, it's just emptiness. And your phone fills that space instantly. But the constant switching between hilarious, heartbreaking, and envious content creates a fast-paced emotional roller coaster that exhausts the brain and might even leave you feeling worse afterwards. So instead, we can create a low-friction activity list beforehand. These are simple things that take about 5 to 10 minutes and are easy to start, like doodling, reading a few pages, or organizing something small. The key is that they require just enough effort to keep your hands and mind engaged. Unlike scrolling though, which is passive and fragmented, these activities help rebuild your ability to focus. A simple strategy is to do one of these things on the list before allowing yourself to scroll. Most of the time, the urge fades by the time you're done. The fourth trigger is the Tran-Scroll. This is when you actually want to watch something, but you don't want to lose track of time, and yet somehow you do. You open your phone for a quick break, and suddenly a few hours are gone. Research shows that after distraction, it takes about 23 minutes to fully regain your original level of focus. So even a short scroll isn't really just a minute. It can cost you a large chunk of your concentration. One simple way to deal with this is the 5-minute safety net. Before you start scrolling, set a timer for 5 minutes. When it goes off, it interrupts that zombie state and gives you a moment to decide if you actually want to continue or if you were just stuck in the loop. You can even stop this behavior before it starts by putting your phone to bed in another room at night and using a traditional alarm clock instead in the morning. This prevents that autopilot scroll the second you wake up or right before you sleep. And for the moments when nothing seems to work, there's one more strategy: friction. Right now, your most used apps are probably in the easiest place to reach, and your thumb already knows exactly where they are. That's muscle memory. If you move those apps into folders, multiple layers deep, you create a small delay. It doesn't sound like much, but even a few seconds can interrupt the automatic behavior and give your brain time to catch up and think, do I actually want to open this right now? At the end of the day, this isn't about completely eliminating scrolling or pretending discipline doesn't matter. You do need discipline, but discipline works best when the system around you supports it. If everything is designed to pull your attention away, then relying on pure willpower all the time is exhausting. A better approach is to understand your patterns, reduce unnecessary friction where you need to start, and add friction where you tend to lose control. That way, you're not fighting your brain, you're working with it. Your life is happening in this room you're sitting in or at the bus stop you're standing at. The algorithm wants your 21 years. Don't give all that away for free. Here's a challenge for you guys. Take 30 seconds right now to move your most addictive app into a folder that's hard to reach. Break the muscle memory and reclaim your time. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you found this information helpful. See you in the next one.